Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another video. It's 9:36 p.m. here in Sydney, and it's a really nice evening today. We've got some great weather, and it's really awesome that it's not raining today because we have had rain for the last few days this week. So it's an awesome start to the weekend. I can only hope it stayed this way, but I've got a feeling it won't. I've had a peek at the weather report. Anyway, um, all right. So, what are we talking about in this video? So, in this video, I'll be talking a little bit about how I added more unit tests to my GitHub repository, Node, TypeScript, CRUD nodes. So, I've actually added unit tests and I've increased the test coverage. I'll talk about that. But before that, uh, this week has been really tiring for me. It's been a long, um, exhaustive week for me, if that's how I could put it. Yeah, it's been it's been really demanding, and all of this comes from my day job. Um, because for those of you who've seen my videos, you would know um, at this stage in my day job, I'm on a new project around security. Now, the thing about this project is that there's many moving parts, and as a result we've got um, a ton of stakeholders. Well, not a ton, but we've got heaps. We've got lots and lots of stakeholders, and that just means that there's that many more conversations I need to have. There is that many more people who I need to present information according to what they want, to their liking, and the way that best works, the way that works best for them. Um, right. So that's been tiring, and it's very interesting because when I first graduated, and in my first couple of jobs, I thought coding and problem solving would be the hardest aspect of my job. But turns out it is coding was actually one of the easier parts. Problem solving was actually one of the easier parts. What's challenging is the communication aspect of it that comes um, with a slightly senior role, and especially when there's stakeholders involved, and when you have to sort of think about the costs involved in developing something. All of that combined, it just makes it a bit. It's just tiring, and I am more tired now at the end of every day than I was when I was happily coding Java. Anyway, so having said all that, now coming to the unit test coverage, right? So I've been talking about my repository, Node, TypeScript, CRUD nodes on GitHub. Now, previously, when I first started talking about the repository, the test coverage was around 10% or so. Then now, recently I added some tests for the controller layer. So for all the controllers that are in that app, like controllers for nodes, for to do, for users, and orders, which will be added soon. There were For those controllers, I actually added tests for a unit test for it, and I increased the test coverage. The test coverage was around 30 or 40%. But in the last week, what I did was I actually added some more unit tests, and this time I added unit tests for the data store layer. So the data store layer is really just a bunch of classes, a series of classes that CRUD data to DynamoDB. For those of you who don't know DynamoDB is a NoSQL database solution by AWS, well, Amazon. So you can do an online search and you can find more information on DynamoDB, and then whatever I can share right now in this video. So please, if you want to know more about it, do an online search. Use Google, Bing, whatever you like. Anyway, so yeah, um, so in that, if you look at that project structure, you've got a folder called routes, which is where the controllers are, and then you've got a folder called data store. Now data store is where you've got classes for that CRUD data to nodes in DynamoDB. The DynamoDB table nodes, then user, and then to do. So and the way they're named is like DDB nodes, and then DDB to do, DDB user, so on and so forth. Right. So what I did was I actually added unit tests for those classes, and now I've increased the test coverage up to 60%. So it's 62% right now. So which is good. It's not very low, but it's not quite as high either, because in my previous project at my current workplace, my day job, the test coverage we would have for Java classes, for a Java project, for a Java API would be about 80%, and for anything like nodejs or typescript, or nodejs or React, it would be about 70%. So I'm close. Anyway, so I've written these tests, and I've actually merged that pull request onto the master branch or the main branch. So I'll put a link to the repository in the description of this video, so please check it out and clone it, run it, and see what you think about it. Now, the one thing that I want to add is that in this, the way I've added tests for the data store layer, they're not quite as what we want them to be. So in a production app, we wouldn't quite have something like what I've done. And what I've done is, at this point, when you run the test, it would actually CRUD data to DynamoDB. Now, in a production grade application, we would not want this, because you would have mocking in place. So when you invoke this particular when you invoke this unit test, it would essentially just mock the DynamoDB the DynamoDB table, the DynamoDB object, and then it would just it wouldn't really make any real insert or delete or so on and so forth. So at this point, the way I've written the test, it would actually insert a data, retrieve a data, update that data, and also delete it. So obviously the test, you wouldn't really have any test data if you were to run this, because there's a before each and after each specified, which you clean up after you run the test. That's that. But again, this is not the right way to do. The way to do it is via mocking. And why didn't I do that? Because I simply couldn't quite figure out how to work with AWS mock SDK. So have a go at this. Please clone the repository, have a go at it, and if you know how to fix it, fork the repository and create a PR. I'll be happy to merge it. Or if you know any useful links that could help, that would be awesome too. Please leave a comment on this video in YouTube, and then if you're watching this, you're obviously watching it on YouTube, so I'm not sure why I said that, but just go with it, please. Leave a comment in the description of this video. Leave a comment for this. Leave a comment here, and then with any link that you feel are relevant and that would help me, that'd be awesome. But yeah, until next time, please check out this repository, and that's all I want to share. I've increased the test coverage up to 62%. If you can help by increasing the test coverage even more, that'd be even awesome. That'd be better. That'd be awesome. So this is open source. We all collaboratively work together, and we get smarter together. So have a look at it and see what you can do. I'll put a link to the repository in the description of this video, so check it out. And whatever I use for tests, I've used Jest, just like how I use Jest for my other the controller unit test. I've used Jest for this as well. So yeah, that's all I wanted to share for this video, and thanks very much for watching. And I'm really tired. I think I'll have a cup of tea before I go to bed. Yeah, cup of tea doesn't quite work on me to the point that it keeps me up. It's almost very therapeutic and it helps me sleep. Anyway, I'm not sure why I said that. you probably don't need to know that, but all right. Okay, thanks a lot for watching, and until next time, I wish you well and live long and prosper.